As you get going in the business, if you're in any type of capacity that is on acquisitions, then one of the most valuable skills you can gain is knowing how to talk to sellers and knowing how to qualify sellers and knowing how to close sellers. Now, there's a big difference between all of those when you think about what it takes to actually go from an initial conversation with a seller all the way to a contract with a seller. There's some things there that need to happen, right? So in the beginning, it's going to be building a relationship of trust. It's going to be what we call uncovering motivation. It's going to be gathering information, is what we do in the beginning of these calls. And once we've gathered information, once we've identified, hey, I think we've got a seller here in distress, we're always looking for that because a distressed seller means there's motivation, which means we can put together a deal where there's a discount. And in real estate, we're always looking for a discount, meaning we're trying to structure a deal that's favorable where we can then make money in one way or another. The opposite of that would be retail. And a retail seller is not who we serve. That's not who we're trying to find. A retail seller needs to list it on the open market and get the highest paying buyer. That's not us. So much of what we do is trying to identify, am I talking to someone that needs help to sell retail, which is not me? I'm not probably the solution for that unless I have a license and I want to list it for them. Ideally, though, what we're looking for is we're looking for what we call a deal, right? We tend to use that term loosely, but I'm looking for a deal. Really, what I mean is I'm looking for a discount where I can acquire a property for cash with equity so that I can turn around and wholesale it or buy it and add value and make money. I always look at the business, first of all, from the perspective of I need to get the deal deep enough. I call it deep enough at a big enough of a discount where I have options. That's acquisitions. Acquisitions is about creating an opportunity where we have options. For me, sometimes I'll look at this and I'll say, man, that's a home run deal. I want it and I'll keep it. I kind of look at it like this. The home runs I want to keep, the singles, doubles, and triples, I want to wholesale to somebody else because I just want to be picky or choosy about what deals I keep. And when I say keep, I mean either keep it and put it in a portfolio or keep it and fix it up and flip it versus everything else I want to wholesale. I like that model. If you're in an acquisitions type of company or a business structure, you really have all the options in the world, which is why I love acquisitions. I absolutely love acquisitions. I will always be an acquisition company and an acquisition person because I want to get the deals with all the meat on the bone so that I have options. I can slice out a piece of the meat for myself, call that a wholesale fee, leave a bunch of meat on the bone for the next person. They can take it and do something with it. When we think about this, guys, I want you to think about phases of the process. Much of what we're doing here is going to be in the very early phases of acquisitions. And what we've done with this service that we're providing through PropWire is we're doing the very, very first step, which is the initial contact with a seller. And those of you that have been working these leads, what we've done is we've teamed up with call centers overseas. We give these call centers a massive list of what we would consider cold leads. These would be people that are on a list of some kind that demonstrate one way or another a form of distress. Could be delinquent on taxes, probate, out-of-state owners, and a number of different things. And then our callers are calling them and they're doing one thing. They're saying, hey, are you interested in selling? Okay, great. Are you open to a cash offer? Fantastic. Someone on my team will call you. That's it. So it's kind of like this very first level of, I call it a hand raise. Did they raise their hand and say they want to sell? Great, they did. We're going to now take those leads and we're going to move into our first phase of discovery. I call it discovery. And in that discovery, we're trying to find a couple of things, but the bottom line is there motivation? Is there distress? Is this somebody who we can serve by solving a problem? That's what that initial call is. Once we've identified, yes, there's distress, yes, there's motivation, yes, this is someone that is looking for an investor to solve their problem. Now the next phase is going to be, I got to get to a number that makes sense. I got to determine value. I got to look at condition. And somehow I got to get to a number that will make money. Okay, we call that analysis. Then the next step after analysis is going to be negotiating, offering. And then the final step would be the contract. We're actually going to sign a legally binding contract. But what we're focusing on and what everybody needs to get good at, everything's developmental in real estate. What we want to get good at initially, if we're in acquisitions, is discovery. How well are you discovering or uncovering motivation? Same thing. Uncovering motivation and discovery is that initial process. Much of the discovery process I've found in doing this for 20 years now, over 20 years now, a lot of this is building a connection with that seller. It's building trust. It's a position of authority. These are all key elements. This is the nonverbal that's going on, verbal and nonverbal, because it's what we say matters, but it's how we say it. The things that really matter the most are active listening. Am I asking the right questions at the right time and with the right tonality? Okay, that's good acquisitions. That's good discovery. Good questions at the right time with the right tonality. Tonality is what breaks down the wall. Sometimes I'm confident, sometimes I'm confused, sometimes I'm funny. Like I'm doing these different personalities to not only mirror the seller, I want to try to match their energy, but also as a way of disrupting the seller so they lower the guard, so they open up, so they can tell me what's going on, and so I can do discovery. Typically, what happens is there's a disconnect between what the seller's saying and what we're hearing. The way that we show somebody that we're in tune is by asking questions that lead us to understand the seller more. When someone feels heard and seen and understood, the way they feel that is when you're trying to show that seller that you're in their shoes. You're willing to walk in their shoes. So you'll say, is this what you're saying? Is this what you mean by that? Help me understand where you're coming from. Why is that important to you? You just said this. Is that what you mean? When you're really showing that seller that you're there and you care and it matters and you want to understand them, that's when a seller says, I trust you. I'm going to open up to you and I'm going to choose you to work with because unlike the other people I've talked to, you seem like you know what you're doing. You seem like you're confident about who you are, and you seem like you really care about my situation. I think I'm going to contract with you, or I think I want to go further with you because I feel good about this. The one thing that you have to understand here, guys, and this is really important to understand, is a seller chooses you not because of price. I mean, price matters, don't get me wrong. I mean, of course, price matters, but that's not the primary decision. Are you paying more than everybody else? A distressed seller chooses you because they have confidence you will get to the finish line. They have confidence that you can solve their problem. They trust you to get them to the outcome they're looking for. That's why they choose you. And I've had sellers that will go with me over other offers where I'm 20, 30,000, even more below their other offers. And they choose me. Why? Because they feel good about me and they want peace of mind more than equity. Write this down, guys. A distressed seller cares more about peace of mind. They want to get rid of this property that's causing them a problem. They care more about that than they do about money in their pocket. They care more about that. That's distressed real estate. You have to understand that. Once you understand that, you come at this from a completely different angle. You come at this with the right attitude, which is the script's less important. The script is more like guardrails or it's prompts to help me kind of follow a certain framework. If you guys watch me do this, and I do this quite often live, I never have two calls that are alike other than the intro. I might start out and say, is it so-and-so? Great. Are you still looking to sell your property on 123 Main Street? Great. How much do you want for that property? Those first initial couple of questions are fairly consistent. But once a seller opens their mouth, they start talking to me. I listen. I try to ask questions related to what they're telling me. What I'm really trying to do is I'm trying to get to the bottom of things. I'm trying to relate to them. I'm trying to understand them. I'm trying to find out what the real problem is here and if I can solve that problem. If I can't solve the problem, I tell them immediately, hey, I don't think I'm the right solution for you. I think you're looking for this. Is that right? Here's what I can do. Is that what you're looking for? Let's keep talking. If it is, if it's not, then you really need somebody else because I'm not that person. I'm identifying that. I'm disqualifying and qualifying at the same time. And a lead manager's role is to warm up the seller, do the discovery, uncover the motivation, and basically hand a ready to close seller to a closer, is what I call them. That would just be your, salesperson. And the salesperson, they're going to know how to underwrite the deal. They're going to know how to make an offer. They're going to know how to negotiate, and they're going to know how to contract. Now, that all could be one person. If you guys watch me do this, I'll do discovery, analysis, offering and negotiating and contracting all on the same call because I know how to wear all those hats. But if you look at a typical wholesale operation that's running a team, you will often see a lead manager. Sometimes we call that a setter, and then you'll see a closer. And the setter's job is to keep the closer out of the low level discovery. I shouldn't say low level, but the initial warm ups with sellers. They'll verify and prep and uncover motivation discovery, take notes and hand that over to the closer. So the closer spending most of their time closing deals and not uncovering motivation. So it keeps the closers actively, using time wisely is really what we're doing. So if you're that lead manager, the last thing you want to do is hand something to your closer and the closer gets on the call and they're not motivated. They're not ready. You didn't do a good job. We start out with cold, warm, hot. That's kind of the progression. The cold part is already done. That's the service we have. Then you can sign up for the service. You get 10 of these delivered to you a day, Monday through Friday. Comes to about 200 a month of these leads. And again, we drip them to you daily, so it's manageable. You can swallow it. And these are fantastic leads to really get down the discovery process, get the marbles out of your mouth, get comfortable. You're going to be talking to a lot of sellers. It's fantastic. For the cost, it's only $4.99 a month for 200 of these leads, which comes to like $2.49. If anything, it's like the ultimate playground to get good at this business for a very affordable price. Where else can you get on the phone with sellers without having to do a lot of legwork first, where they don't have to generate the list, skip trade, cold call, all that's done. You can learn more about it. You can get signed up, and it's a monthly subscription. We've had tremendous success. We've sponsored these leads for PACE and the Creative Nation Tour. And I think out of the 8 or 9 that I've been to of the tour meetups, I'm literally watching people close deals in the time that we allot to do the calls. It's crazy. So this can be very powerful if you're proactive and you call the leads and you follow up. So $499 a month for 200 leads delivered 10 a day, Monday through Friday. And you just get them emailed to you. You'll get a list. We are now including some call recordings, which is great if you want to go back and listen to the call. I wouldn't listen to it unless you need to. We're actually working on some really cool things. We want to create a scoring system with some of these leads, which would be really helpful. And we got some other cool things we're working on. They're very fresh. They've been called in the past 24 to 48 hours. That's the other reason why we deliver them to you daily, is because I don't want to compile them all. And then by the time you get them, you got this huge list and they're a week old. We generate the leads, we send them to you, prep for a call from you, but there's been zero discovery. Are they motivated? Who knows? That's your job. We're not trying to uncover motivation. We're trying to just get you sellers that are interested in an offer and are open to that conversation. That's it. In the program, when you sign up, we don't send the same leads to 2 people. So they're exclusive to you. Now, let me clarify something. That does not mean that somebody else isn't calling that seller or that the seller is not doing their own outreach. In fact, I would assume that in today's day and age with technology, if we have a list of these sellers, so does somebody else. And so they're probably getting calls from other people too. But that's anything. I mean, there's no way around that. Well, welcome to competition, right? But we don't sell the same leads to 2 people. They are exclusive to you. No, they are not specific to a certain region. These are nationwide. We do not have the ability right now to do market specific. That should not be a hindrance. In fact, we have a lot of people that work their backyard market, meaning they have an operation in a very specific market. And they now also do this nationwide. So they've just added this as a model to what they're already doing. I flip nationwide. So I have a program where we do that. It's a finder program called 10K Club. Some of you are in that program. If you are interested in getting into that finder program, you can just go to my 10K check, my10kcheck.com, and you can register for training and you can learn about, how that works. We are not using AI. We have live bodies calling these sellers. They're overseas, virtual assistants, but we call the sellers live. We are not using AI to do that.